In the hot seat, successive losses to Carlton and Fitzroy, and suddenly they're starting to slide. Hawthorn, on the other hand, has just kept winning. For a finals berth with a win over the West Coast Eagles. But the Eagles too have been on a roll. They're out to make it 4 wins in a row. VFL Park with Drew Morfitt, Ian Robertson and Ross Glendinning.
Umpire Brian Sheen getting the second half underway. Deer charges at O'Dwyer. Langford solidly through there. Buckenara the first one to go in and get the ball and wins a free kick for it. And Chris Langford down on his haunches. He dealt out the bump and looks as though he might have come off second best.
There's Gary Buckenara getting the free for that high contact.
So Buckenara from just behind the centre puts it out wide to the wing, but Glenn Lovett leads the race and takes the mark for Melbourne.
Hasn't done all that bad either, Glenn Lovett. He's kicked towards half forward and a good strong mark has been taken by Hughes. He gets the hand pass back to Lovett. Melbourne really haven't done much with it. Now Lovett's kicked towards centre half forward, gathered by White, tackled by Jenke, but White gets his kick away deep into the pocket and it rolls through for a behind. So the first score in the third quarter goes to Melbourne, and let's hope that they can get 2 or 3 quick goals and make a bit of a game of it. Mew kicks it into the back pocket where Buckenara takes the mark. Buckenara's kicked further afield and the mark has been taken by Langford. He's pretty casual. He's kicking towards the centre. Gather there by Condon. Not quite. Platten bumped off the ball. Unfairly, says the umpire, and Platten will take the free kick on the defensive side of centre wing. Platten's drop punt kick. Brereton in front. Good punch by Rowe. Attempted kick off the ground by Glenn Lovett. White. Phoebe, who's played well. Tingay's kick. Brett Lovett getting underneath it and takes a good mark in front of Johnny Platten. And professionally done by Jay Platten to dispossess the Melbourne player. And the umpire will not let Brett Lovett play on, go back and kick over the man on the mark. He does that, kicks it in towards centre half forward. It's over the top. Beveridge. O'Dwyer. Left foot kick by O'Dwyer. Might bounce through. No, it just misses to the left and goes through for another behind to Melbourne. So it's been a spirited opening, Ross, by the Demons in this third quarter.
Yes, they certainly look a lot better, and Sean White's obviously a bit more determined down there at centre half forward, and they're going to need a lot more from their forwards, obviously.
Mew kicks in. Buckenara, oh, beautiful use of the hip just to get White out of the road. He's kicked to centre wing. Condon, brilliant, to Pritchard. And the pass for Dunstall, but way too wide. And you don't often see Hawthorn's disposal lacking like that with no pressure on.
He was just a little too far away, I think.
It was
and he knew, didn't
yes.
he? He knew that the kick was going to have to carry too far for him on his left foot.
So a throw in at left half forward for the Hawks. O'Dwyer and Deer, and Curran over the top to win it. Condon dumped. Steins to Glenn Lovett. He's kicked towards the centre of the ground. Beveridge goes to ground. White, a good little hand pass across to Phoebe. Phoebe's pass to Bennett. On the bounce, good gather. Back to Phoebe. Chance here for the Demons. Phoebe slips Platten. Gets it across to Tingay, but his kick astray. Airs off the ground. Gains 35 metres and might even find Platten as well. But well done by young Luke Beveridge. Gets the hand pass up the ground. Campbell inside 50. Goes for goal. It's close. Good kick.
Yes, well done, Luke Beveridge has called it, Drew, and that's a lift that they wanted coming off the boot of Tony Campbell, who's being very quiet today, having started in the back line on Gary Buckenara. Now moved forward, and a few changes been swung by John Northey. Danny Hughes also in the full line, but a good creative handball coming from Beveridge there. And Campbell, a deliberate shot at goal, the most difficult angle out there. It's probably the most difficult place to kick goals from VFL Park, and affected it very well.
Desperate stuff by Beveridge when he threw himself on the ball too.
Really did.
So Melbourne, the first goal of the third quarter. Deers punch towards centre half forward. Kennedy sweeping on the football. Stretch doesn't quite know where it's gone. Brereton's caught with the ball. Now the ball comes out. Flintoff to Greg Healy. The Demons are into attack again. Greg Healy's kick covers all of players. Sean White running onto it. Kick off the ground. Oh, he falls over at the crucial stage. Danny Hughes and Langford. Free kick being picked out of it. It's going to Hawthorn. 2 Melbourne players down behind play.
And Dermot Brereton's got crook ribs again too, I think, Drew.
They've collected each other.
Wilson and Sean White. kick towards the wing, marked to O'Dwyer. And both Melbourne players, Sean White looking a little bit better than Wilson. Kick towards centre half forward. Collins fumbles. Bennett out the back. Kick out of mid-air by Jenke. Out towards Whitman. Whitman's got plenty of space on that outer wing. The left foot kick across his body into the centre. Goes over the top. Kennedy's tap on. Condon's a chance. Kick off the ground by Lovett. Good play, Condon. Caught by Brett Lovett. Melbourne really struggling in the centre of the field. They'll get a kick now through Flintoff. Into the half-forward area. Having to stand his ground was Hughes. A good punch by O'Dwyer. Campbell again from 40 metres. The drop punt kicks home. His kick away. Scragged by Curran. And the kick has been marked by Deer, defensive side of centre wing. Curran, who did the tackle on Steins, has run across to the centre. But Deer elects to keep close to the boundary line. Brereton! Magnificent mark.
Didn't have trouble getting his arms up that time.
If he's got broken ribs, he shrugged them off pretty well. Dermot Brereton. Fantastic couple of marks by Platten and Brereton in the last minute or two. Brereton for Dunstall or Curran. Grinter spoils Dunstall well. Comes to Mew. Back to Jason Dunstall outside 50. Well, he fumbled there and lost control of it. And Greg Healy saw it out over the boundary line. And Brereton. Fantastic fly. O'Dwyer all over Deer. Anderson at the back. Good desperation by Flintoff. Ball up for grabs. Healy off the ground. Phoebe. Healy kept going. Platten in the back. Free kick to John Platten against Healy.
Poor effort by Greg Healy.
Dunstall leads to the pocket. Not a bad kick by Platten. But O'Dwyer got back there. A couple of touches, mark not paid. Out of defence. And Tingay marks.
Tingay plays on quickly. Oh, there's a 2-on-1 situation. Hawthorn have the advantage. Oh, good play there by Danny Hughes. Oh, he just couldn't get his right foot to the ball. Mew gets it back to Langford. Free kick. And it's going to the Hawthorn player, Mew. Demon fans, he only had to get his right foot to the ball, didn't he, Danny Hughes? But couldn't quite get it. There's a whistle blown prematurely. Calls play on. Deer takes the football and kicks Hawthorn into attack towards centre half forward. Big Steins goes up. Kennedy gets it out in front of Buckenara. Buckenara goes back to Pritchard. Pritchard over the top to Curran. Curran's left foot snap. And Brereton just touches it in the field of play. So we'll have a boundary throw in that left forward pocket for Hawthorn.
Well, Melbourne captain Greg Healy gave the umpire heaps then when the umpire really blew the whistle too early for Deer's mark. O'Dwyer wins the palm out. And coaches and officials aren't supposed to talk about umpiring, but I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne won't be too happy. Free kicks 20 to 11. Here comes Campbell again. Beautiful kick to full forward. Bennett nudged underneath the ball. No whistle. Melbourne fans calling for it. Is there a whistle for that? Yes, this time. Beveridge will take the free kick, but he's too far out to score.
They get a goal here, Drew. They're a big chance.
Well, Hawthorn haven't added a goal in this quarter. His kick smothered by the man on the mark, but it comes to Flintoff. Back to Beveridge. He tries again. This time on the turn. Just pops it very high. And Jenke sees it. Oh, I thought it was out, but it wasn't. Yates! It went through for a goal! Out the last quarter. Melbourne first away through Tingay, but his kick smothered. Comes back to Condon. His kick back to centre half forward. Brett Lovett marks in defence. Wide to centre wing. Phoebe gets there first and outmarks Dipia Domenico.
Good player, this kid.
Yes, wing is definitely his go, not full back. He played full back last week on Osborne and had about 8 kicked on him. Bounces through the pack, whistle's gone, and it's a free kick to Hawthorn. Platten trying to take advantage, but it's got to come back to Chris Langford.
So Demons will need to kick, I would think, the first goal or two. This Hawthorn side, very, very disciplined. Langford's kick, 50 metres plus. Up towards half forward, getting through is Connolly. Some heavy traffic there. Greg Healy, off it goes to Brett Lovett. The hand pass is a little too wide for Glenn Lovett, but Brett goes in and does the shepherding. And he's still there again to get his kick away. Good play by the Melbourne defender. Up towards half forward, Greg Healy. But Mew stands his ground and does pretty well for Hawthorn and kicks the ball wide. John Kennedy comes in. Can he control the football? Stretch does the tackling. Kennedy drops the ball. Umpire lets play go on. Throw it in, please, boundary umpire. Buckenara on the interchange bench with Chris Whitman for Hawthorn. And we've got a boundary throw in between wing and half forward, slightly favouring the Hawks. O'Dwyer gets the tap out. It comes out the back. Kick off the ground by Anderson. Tuck. Now swooping on it is Curran. High ball. Doesn't cover much territory. Steins takes the mark. Did it cover the required distance? Yes. So Steins will take the kick at half-back for Melbourne.
Still showing the effects of a fat lip after the boot in the face earlier in the match. Steins kick to centre wing. O'Dwyer tried to help it on. Comes to Pritchard. Now to Ayres, who's fumbling. Oh, he's crashed into by Lovett. And Lovett hurt himself more than he hurt Ayres, and Brett Lovett still down. Well, can it get any worse for Melbourne? And now here's another free kick. Anderson pushed in the back.
Gee, they've got a few, haven't they? I think also they've been dicey ones.
Well, that's what I was trying to allude to earlier on, and I think you're right, that they've missed some crucial ones, but given the more tickier, dicey type of free kick.
So this will take the sting out of Melbourne's revival. Kicked by Dean Anderson. Doesn't make it. And through for a behind. So Melbourne still within sight. 3 straight kicks from hitting the lead. Lovett's back on his feet. Not looking too good.
Grinter kicks into the members' side. Oh, bad miss by Glenn Lovett. Platten's there. Tingay. Platten gets the hand pass. Pritchard goes back to Ayres. Look at that teamwork. Platten's on the end of it. The left foot kick by Platten into the pocket. Oh, Grinter should have marked that. Greg Healy there to help out. The left foot kick by Greg Healy out towards the wing. Good interception by White, and he does pretty well too. The hand pass over the top. Glenn Lovett held when he didn't have it by Mew, so the free kick will go to the Melbourne player, defensive side of centre wing. Hasn't been easy to score up this small scoreboard end. Glenn Lovett's kick drops in short. A good tap on there by Campbell. Sweeping on it is Connolly. Connolly's kick towards centre half forward. Can the Demons gather the bouncing ball? No. Condon can and does it pretty well for Hawthorn. Condon's left foot kick wide. White high over the top of Ayres. Can't mark. Ayres off the ground. Slips at the crucial stage. Glenn Lovett comes in and kicks with the right foot towards half forward. Nearly the mark there to Mew, and Mew from a standing start kicks it back to the wing where Connolly takes the mark for Melbourne.
Melbourne's spirit still high. Connolly's kick over the wing to Healy, who marks just before Collins can get there. Greg Healy going back. His kick to half forward. Campbell, big climb, can't take the mark. Out close to the boundary line. Oh, beautiful play by Mew. Just bumped his opponent down and took possession. Back to centre wing. Beautifully kept in there by Rode, for one bounce at least. Gained about 12 metres, throwing.
Mike Tyson versus Johnny Famishon. Mew and Beveridge, though, Drew.
It was.
6-8 Melbourne. Hawthorn 8-12 on centre wing. Demons striving hard. Free kick in the ruck contest. And again, I can't see it. I just cannot. 2 big men going for the ball, and Deere comes out with the free kick, and it finishes up with Brereton outside the 50-metre line. He kicks out in front of Dunstall. Punch away by Grinter. Great play. It's still at centre half forward for Hawthorn. Curran has it. Kicks it across his body towards full forward. Steins, but at the back, Kennedy. Clean mark.
Gee, good mark, John Kenny. I haven't seen him take too many of those marks of late. He's normally a more mobile player, taking the mark on his chest, around the ground, or just in front of his face, but just jumped slightly here over the top of Steins. Well judged and well marked, John Kennedy. Good work by Michael Tuck earlier on too to set that up.
He's kicked 189. Now he's kicked 190 goals in his career.
And that's certainly the goal that Melbourne didn't want Hawthorn to kick. They should have been the team to kick the goal there and just give themselves that extra chance to come back here, but that goal just gives Hawthorn a bit of steadiness. And John Kennedy has always been a very, very good contributor. And Ian mentioned earlier in the commentary that he's been an underrated player. I agree with that. He's always been dangerous. in teams I've played against Hawthorn, and very difficult to contain.
The margin back out to 22 points in a low-scoring game. O'Dwyer wins. It'll have to be balled up again. Crowd of 28,117 to see last year's grand finalists. It doesn't look like it when we look at the stands, but you've got to look right up under cover. Connolly bowled over by Ayres. Tuck, a hand pass away to Platten. Hughes, great desperation, wins the free kick. Takes it quickly, out to Brett Lovett, who's about 30 metres in the clear. Chance for Melbourne to set something up here. Keeps the pass low for Campbell. Good mark!
He's given them some life, hasn't he, Drew?
Well,
Played well.
He is a forward, I think, and Melbourne have just got to be convinced of it and try to play him in all these different positions. Campbell's kicked towards full forward, no mark. Greg Healy, is it a mark? Why?
Yeah, Sean White, I'd play that actually. Yes, I would, Ian. He's right in front. He had first touch of the ball that came straight back down to him. We might get that on replay, I'm not sure, but I would certainly, on my first look at it, he's in front of the pack as we see here. Oh, okay, there might have been a punch from behind, but the first, which is the umpire, doesn't have the advantage of a replay. His first impression is a mark.
And I thought Greg Healy was going to grab it out of his hands.
Yes.
That's what I was waiting for. He was at the bottom of the marking contest, but Sean White having a shot from only 20 metres out, and he kicks a good goal for Melbourne.
Well, in my book, Sean White's been a disappointing player for Melbourne, particularly of late. He's not really given them a whole lot either back or forward, and he's almost been a bit of a problem for John Northey. He's been given some big tasks. Today he had a chance to have a go. Just see that again. It's a little dicey, but again the umpire in the right position and a good finish by White. White had trouble with Brereton, and he's just now given them something up there, and I hope he can continue to do so.
The Demons within 3 goals again. The margin 16 points. O'Dwyer, a big charge at the ball up. Dippia Domenico. Condon to Ayres. Kennedy. Anderson. And went across the ground with about 4 possessions. Very wide kick for Dunstall, who's kicked just 2 goals today to add to his 100. But he's given them away, and he's been busy, although Grinter has done a superb job at full-back, and he's been there all day.
Rather interesting too with Sean White, he may not have even been back on the ground if it hadn't been for Jamie Dursman being slightly injured.
Condon, a big leap. Lovett's been a great player for Melbourne this year, but his hand pass into the stomach of Kennedy, it's socked forward and hits the post.
Ooh. I think it was Tuck, wasn't it? Was Tuck
Yes, it was
down
Tuck,
there?
yes. David Williams.
Rodney Grinter, just a little undecided as to where to go. Tries the torpedo punt kick, which is fairly effective. Anderson, Platten, geez, a great rover, Johnny Platten, and disciplined kick to the front of the square. Nearly the punch by stretch. Kennedy's caught. Brereton will shoot for goal. Free kick being picked out.
Yes, against John Kennedy
And
there.
a 50-metre penalty too.
Yeah, the free kick initiatives for John Kennedy. He got one arm caught and he only had the chance to get rid of the ball by throwing the ball in the air with his other. And then as play went on, the whistle had been clearly blown. The 50-metre penalty now applies.
And Brereton not too happy with the umpiring. And the umpire now having a chat. Has play gone on? Yes, it has. It's at centre-half forward. Here's Sean White again. The short chip. Oh, great mark by Jenke. And he runs away with confidence from half-back. He'll be caught. Gets the hand pass away. Melbourne is still there. Steins over the top. Glenn Lovett deep in the pocket. A kick around the corner. White into an open goal. No, he's going to stop and have a shot. Oh.
Tell you what, Ian, Greg Dees in a spot of bother as he slipped there. I reckon he's damaged his groin a little. Hope he's all right. The vital key. The Hawthorn side.
Yes, he's a very important player, but this player seems to have lifted in the last.
Just sparked a bit. Well,
5
they
or
needed
10.
it. They certainly needed it.
If White kicks this, the difference is only 11 points. And White kicks it.
And gritting his teeth with this next centre bounce against O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer wins and tries one off the ground. Platten, brilliant. To spin out of trouble and find Mew. Mew goes thump inside half forward. Brereton a fingernail to it. But Road for Melbourne puts the kick wide. That's a beautifully delivered kick to Greg Healy. Melbourne lifting. They've come back since half-time when they trailed by 34 points. Yates up to half forward. Glenn Lovett at the back. All Melbourne at ground level. Beveridge has a bit of space. Nobody back there, but his kick is disappointing and way out of bounds on the full.
He could almost have just set that into the square and the ball to run through for him.
Inexperience.
Bit of inexperience, certainly.
Mew in the back pocket. Drop punt kick outside 50 metres. Steins, but a big punch from behind by Langford, who looks as though he might be favouring a leg also. So the Hawks only 3 weeks away from the finals. Yeah, they wouldn't want to have any injuries to those two players, Greg Deere and Chris Langford. O'Dwyer over the top, Deere. Good job there to get the tap out. Comes out the back to Phoebe, and Phoebe gets his kick away. It's going into the pocket. Bounces just inside before Schwab can control it. So we'll have a boundary throw in only 25 to 30 metres around from the Melbourne goal. And if they can get one here, gee, what a finish we'll have on our hands. And at half-time, the Hawks led by 34 points. So Melbourne, magnificent comeback in this second half so far. Beveridge can't get there. Another boundary throw in.
Well, they're just running on pure guts, Melbourne. They've had virtually half a team stripped from them by injuries, and they've had another one today with Brian Wilson carted off on a stretcher. But since that happened, they've done nothing but narrow the gap. Condon out of defence for Hawthorn. 2-1 Melbourne centre wing. Hughes the mark? No. Butters up. O'Dwyer. Good play by Melbourne. Back to Stretch. Kick by Stretch to half forward. White has been in everything this quarter. Oh, Dipia Domenico did well to get his body in between opponent and ball. Umpire says play on. They're all claiming free kicks. Off the ground by Tuck. Stretch again. Dropped it in the tackle. Look at the pressure in the middle, and this is after a hard game of football. The umpire will ball this up.
Great stuff.
I just think if I was sitting in John Northey's shoes, he doesn't have a lot of options. He knows that he can't do much in swinging players around, and with two players off the ground not able to come back on again,
they just need really a little bit of luck, Ross, I think, at this stage, and that was just a perfect example. If one of the teams had got possession there, they'd have been away. Flintoff's kick off the side of his boot. Langford does well, gets the hand pass back to Collins. He's got 3 or 4 metres to spare. The left foot kick towards half forward. A great mark over the top to Road.
So it's an excellent mark. I thought he was right out of the contest there, but threw that a little better than Burton.
Looking to kick towards Steins and O'Dwyer. Over the top, a good punch by Deere. Greg Healy at the bottom of it. Towards half forward. Oh, Schwab drops a sitter. Chance for Glenn Lovett. Back to Campbell. In towards full forward. Oh, great mark, Dipia Domenico. Stands his ground pretty well. The kick across his body goes to Condon at centre half back. Hand pass over the top. Puts Anderson under pressure. Melbourne, they're spirited now. Sean White, effective pass, finds Greg Healy at centre half forward.
He was looking to lay it off to Beveridge over in the pocket here, but go direct.
Greg Healy towards full forward. Steins at the back. Glenn Lovett can't get his foot to the ball. Kick off the ground by Dipia Domenico. Yates has a chance. He's on his own. He can run right up. Now he's forced to kick around his body. Into the pocket. Collins can't mark. Beveridge knocks the ball over the boundary line.
Gee, it was a good play there by Yates, an experienced player. Bennett was sitting about 20 metres out from front of the square there, and he just totally ignored him.
Steins in ruck. And Bennett up there to help him. Steins knocks to the goal square. Tingay dragged forward in the tackle. No whistle. Steins a little soccer. And it has gone through for a rush behind. Melbourne just edge a little bit closer. The margin now 10 points. And we have just under 11 and a half minutes remaining.
Gee, that could have been a great little Gaelic kick, couldn't it? Could Jimmy Steins over the top of the opposition and through for a goal. But not to be. Chris Langford, strong, composed, confident. Beautiful torpedo punt kick, nearly into the centre. White can't mark. He tries to punch it further forward. Dipia Domenico gets the hand pass back to Platten. Platten always running, and this is a great kick to find touch on the players' interchange area, which sees Chris Whitman just warming up on the boundary line. Maybe he's been summoned by his coach to come back on the field. Boundary throw in centre wing in front of the members here. O'Dwyer, Deere, looks as though he's recovered from that knock. Tingay, pressured by Tuck. Platten comes in. Another boundary throw in.
20 kicks, 8 handballs, John Platten.
You always get value for money from him, don't you? He's a great player. 10 points, the Hawks lead.
Ruckman lock horns. Dwyer. Ayres flips out the hand pass. Yates is back there. Stretch, his teammate, couldn't get out of the way. Road. He's played pretty well. Further the game's gone. Steins takes it defensively. Still after it, Jim Steins. Stretch. Spills to Flintoff. Kick smothered. Connolly in there after it. All Hawthorn. They're knocking each other out of the way to get the ball. Dippia Domenico. Kennedy over the top. Schwab looking into the sun. Picks out Pritchard at half-forward flank.
Player in the pocket on his own. No, not now.
Pritchard for the leading Dunstall. A crucial lead and a mark. Not happy with the attention he's getting from Grinter. And Jason Dunstall, who's kicked just 2 goals today, 2 goals, 3. 9.5 minutes left. His kick is good. No, just away to the right. Well, I'm not reading the kicks any better than he's delivering. 2-4 to Dunstall.
Well, very important for Melbourne now because time ticking away. There's only 9 minutes left. The kick in finds Connolly. Connolly's short pass. A little bit too high there for Phoebe. Ayres. Look at this kick by Gary Ayres on the wrong foot. Left. Is a natural right foot kick. And it finds Curran on the 50-metre line. Curran, 1-2 steps to half-forward. Dunstall.
It's a great kick, Ian. Really is a good kick. And again, the space created by his teammates getting out of that area so Dunstall could run into some room. Really had no chance, did Grinter. Once Dunstall took off, it was a great kick from Curran.
So Dunstall will kick from about 35, maybe, yeah, about 35 metres directly in front. Drop punt kick, splits the big posts. Dunstall kicks his third.
Well, that's going to make it difficult for Melbourne. There's still every chance to get back into this game, but that just makes it a little more difficult. And Hawthorn and just send you over to cover any sort of move that Melbourne make. So we see this mark again with the kick coming from Curran. That any move that John Northey makes with his players, which he's limited to do, Hawthorn cover them very well.
The Dunstall, 9 marks, 13 kicks, but just 3 goals. Stretcher dive and a mark low down. Melbourne will have to rush home if they're to win it now. Steins, not quite. Ayres is back there. Beveridge bowled over, will take the free kick. Margin 17 points. 3 straight kicks for Melbourne and they can get up. Kick by Beveridge. Back into the sun. White high but couldn't mark. At the back dear. Off to Schwab. Hawthorn out of trouble. Beautiful kick to Dippia Domenico. He hits the ground at full tilt. Good wide lead to Curran, who's been absolutely superb. 10 marks, 19 kicks. Dunstall again. 3 marks in about 2 minutes.
What a great kick by Curran. Oh, beautiful.
The skill level is unbelievable.
Oh, terrific. Following up his fine game from last week, Peter Curran.
Dunstall can really bury Melbourne with this. Not bad. Gee whiz. Just missed.
3 goals, 5 now to Jason Dunstall. And Melbourne need 3 straight goals in 7 minutes of football. Tall order. Hughes straight up the centre. Wobbly punt kick, falls in short. And Stretch does a good job to take the mark at centre half back for Melbourne. They'll have to move it quickly. Stretch kicks it back into the centre. Marking contest. Jenke. Now Condon's on the end of it. Condon's kick into the pocket. Dunstall again. Well, just when the game is in the balance and this man has been kept out of it pretty well, all of a sudden he takes 3 or 4 marks.
It's very difficult in this situation. We see Another good kick and a good lead from Dunster. Once the player like Dunster with his pace gets in front of a player like Grinter, there's not much chance when the ball comes down like that.
Dunstall's shot for goal is okay.